Now students, we are discussing about reproduction units. In last class we discussed about like lab activity, rhizopus common modes. We discussed asexual reproduction. So in today's class we are going to discuss about what is sexual reproduction. What is sexual reproduction? Sexual reproduction talks about fusion of male gametes and female gametes. Fusion of male gametes and male gametes and female gametes. Zygote is going to form. When female gamete and male gamete is going to fuse, it is called as fertilization. It is called as fusion of male and female gametes. When it is going to fuse, it is called as fertilization. So when fertilization takes place, zygote is going to form. The zygote will develop into embryo, embryo into fetus and baby after 9 months. There are two different types of fertilization is there. One is internal fertilization and the second one is external fertilization. What is internal fertilization? If the fertilization takes place inside the female body, fusion of male gamete and female gamete, if the fertilization takes place inside the female body is called as internal fertilization. For example, human beings and so many animals, internal fertilization takes place. If the fertilization takes place, fusion of male and female gametes outside the body, it is called as external fertilizations. For example, the best example is fish. The best example is frog. Female frogs release ovum into the water. Male frogs release sperms into the water. Fertilization takes place outside the body, outside the animal body. Such type of fertilization is called as external fertilizations. In the ovum, the food materials is there. When the ovum and the sperms is going to fuse, zygote is going to form. There is a plenty of food materials is there to grow the zygote and the embryo and the fetus. This is about internal fertilization and the external fertilization. The most important sexual reproductions. So, reproduction in placental mammals. The reproduction in placental mammals like animals and human beings. So, male reproductive system. Male reproductive system. Male reproductive system and female reproductive system is very important for 4 marks questions, as well as matter and the diagram also very important. These both are very important. So come to the male reproductive system. There are some main parts like labels is there. We'll discuss about this. Testes. First one is testes. Vasa efferentia or vas efferentia. Epididymis. Epididymis. Vasa difference. Vasa difference. Vasa efferentia, vasa differentia. Seminal vessels. Seminal vessels. Seminal vessels. Prostate gland. And here copper glands also is there. Prostate gland Escalator duct. Escalatory ducts. Last one is urethra. This one is urethra. Come with a simple diagram of this male reproductive system. So this is actually urinary bladder. Urinary bladder. This is penis, urethra. This is testes, scrotum, epididymis. Epididymis. Seminal vesicle, vasa, vas differentia, and this is prostate gland. There are so many like labels is there in the male reproductive system. Penis, urethra. So you can see the testes. Testes are located outside the male body. So they have a pouch-like structures. They have a pouch-like structure is called as scrotum. They have a scrotum. In this scrotum, this testis is located. In the testes, there are seminiferous tubules is there. Seminiferous. Seminiferous tubules. Sperms is going to produce in the seminiferous tubules in the testes. Sperms are produced in the seminiferous tubules. From the seminiferous tubules, they will travel into vasa efferentia. Seminiferous. Once the sperms are prepared in the process of meiosis process, so and they will divide into mitosis. What is meiosis process and mitosis process? We'll discuss in next class. So very important. So they produce the seminiferous tubules to enter into vasa efferentia. Vasa efferentia. From the vasa efferentia, this vasa efferentia tubules are connected to the epididymis. The sperms are moved to the epididymis from vasa efferentia to the epididymis. Sperms are temporarily stored in epididymis. The sperms are temporarily stored in epididymis. From the epididymis, they will, from the epididymis, vasa efferentia to the seminiferous tubule to the vasa efferentia, vasa efferentia to the epididymis. The sperms temporarily stored in epididymis. From the epididymis, it will travel into the vasa differentia. Vasa differentia. It is also called as sperm duct. Sperm ducts. In the vasa differentia, there are seminal vessels is there. From the seminal vessels, semen is going to release. Semen is going to release. It is very, very useful to the sperm. It will provide energy. So once the sperms enter into the vasa differentia, then they will enter into the ejaculatory duct. There are pair of testicles there, pair of vasa differentia is there, seminal vessels is there, pair of prostate glands is there, and Cowper glands is there. They will enter into the ejaculatory duct. Their prostate glands is there. This prostate glands release some fluids is going to add into the sperms. This fluid are very, very important to the sperms. They will provide nutrition to the sperms. So this Cowper glands, when the Cowper glands release fluids, it is very, very useful to the sperms. It can easily move. It will align. It will move toward the ovaries. So this is the production of sperms. It started from the seminiferous tubules. So they have a scrotum, epididymis, testes. In the seminiferous tubules, the sperms is going to produce and enter into the vasa efferentia. From the vasa efferentia to the epididymis, sperms temporarily stored in epididymis and enter the vasa differentia. And they will add seminal vessels and semen. Semen, it's a male hormones like testosterone. Male hormone is testosterone is going to add into the sperms. And they will enter into the ejaculatory duct. Prostate glands release the fluids and it contains nutrition. It will provide the moving of these sperms. From there on mixing of this fluids, it will enter into the urethra. Through the urethra, so it will ejaculate outside the male body. The sperms is going to ejaculate outside the body. But you can observe here, only one urethra is there in male body. So it is a common for the urine. So see it's connected to the bladder also. When the urine is filled in the urinary blads, the urine also passes through the urethra to the outside the body. So it is also, the sperm also passes through the only one duct, that is urethra. In female, there is a separate like systems is there, like urinary systems and ovum system is separate systems is there. Two urethra is there in the females. This is about male reproductive systems. Diagram and explanation. Pair of testes located outside the body into the scrotum. So in the scrotum, it will maintain 2.5 degrees centigrade temperatures. It is lower than the body temperatures. So because in the high temperatures the sperms is not produced, the scrotum maintains 2 to 2.5% of degrees centigrade temperature only. Next one is sperm. So sperm actually have head, middle piece and tail. Sperm have head, middle piece and tail. In the collar it have acrosome. Nucleus is there, mitochondria, the mitochondrial energy is there. This acrosome will be penetrate into the ovum. This acrosome will help to penetrate into the ovum. It have head, middle piece, tail will help in the swimming toward the ovum. It will help in the movement of the sperms. Middle piece energy is there, mitochondria energy is there. around 40%, in 100% of the sperms, 40% are active, remaining 60% sperms are inactive. At a time, millions of sperms is going to release. In the millions of sperms, only 40% sperms are active, 60% are inactive. Only one sperm is going to fuse with the ovum to form zygote for the fertilization. This is about the female reproductive parts. In female reproductive parts, so there are three parts in there. One is ovary, another is fallopian tube, and uterus. Ovary, fallopian tube, and uterus. Let's come to the female reproductive parts. Look at the structure of this female reproductive parts. One is ovary, fallopian tube, uterus, cervix, and vagina. You can see three main parts in female reproductive parts. One is ovary, fallopian tube. It is also called as oviduct, and uterus. The ovum is going to start produced in the ovary. The ovum is going to start produced in the ovary. They look like a follicles. Before matures, this ovum look like a follicles. They look like a small bubbles. So they have a fluid around this ovum. This follicle is called as Graafian follicles. Graafian follicles. Before mature of this ovum, they look like follicles. They look like small bubbles. They have a fluid around them. This follicle is called as a Graafian follicles. When the ovum is going to mature, this fluid around the Graafian follicles is going to break down. The fluid is going to break down from the Graafian follicles. The ovum will be flushed outside the body, outside from the ovary. So the mature ovum will be released. Releasing of ovum is called as ovulation. Releasing of ovum is called as ovulations. When the ovum is going to release, when the ovum is matured, before mature there are so many meiosis process and mitosis process will takes place. I will explain what is the meiosis process and the mitosis process next class. Once the ovum is released from the ovary is called as ovulations. Once the ovum is released, it will enter into fallopian tubes. The ovum temporarily stored in this fallopian tubes. If at the same time, if the sperms are entered into the female body, million of sperms will be entered in one particular times. So only one sperm is going to fuse with the ovum. One sperm is going to fuse with the ovum. If the fertilization takes place inside the female body in the fallopian tube, zygote is going to form. If fertilization takes place in the fallopian tubes. If fertilization takes place, zygote form. The zygote will be developed into embryo. This embryo will be moved toward the uterus. So implantation will take place in the uterus walls. Not in the fallopian tubes. Implantation is nothing but this zygote, this embryo will going to attach in the uterus walls, in the mother wombs, in the uterus walls. There are so many changes will take place. Thickness will be increased. The connection between the baby and the mother, the nutrition will be supplied, and the waste materials are removed, and the blood will be supplied. The connection will be grow between the uterus walls and the baby. 21 days during the development of baby, 21 days during the development of embryo, heartbeat rate will be start. Fertilization takes place in the fallopian tube, but implantation, baby will grow in the uterus walls. If the fertilization takes place, so zygote form, embryo form, implantations in the uterus walls. After 9 months pregnancy, the baby will come away from the female body, from the mother womb. If fertilization not takes place, so this ovum or this waste materials go away from the female body with the waste materials, with the blood. It is called as menstruation cycle. This menstruation cycle will be happening every 28 days or every 1 month. One ovum will be released in every month from the simultaneously. From the left side ovum, one ovum. From the right side ovary, one ovum will be released. It will be happen simultaneously. If fertilization takes place, baby will start growing. If fertilization not takes place, so this ovum will be flushed away from the female body with the waste materials, including with the blood. It is called as periods, or you can call menstruation cycle. This menstruation cycle will take place 28 days, every 28 days or every month. So this is about female reproductive system. In female reproductive systems, we see 3 parts. Ovary are located inside the female abdominal cavity. Fallopian tubes and ovaries. From the ovary, ovum will be released. They look like follicles. It is called as Graafian follicle. So fluid is surrounded them. When the ovum is matured, they flushed from these Graafian follicles and released into the fallopian tubes. If fertilization takes place in the fallopian tubes, it will form a zygote, develop into embryo, and more into the uterus, attached to the uterus walls. Implantation takes place, development of the baby until 9 months. If fertilization not takes place, so that ovum will be go away from the female body with the waste materials, including with the blood. It is called as menstruation cycle. This is about male reproductive system and female reproductive system. Okay. So today homework, you have to read both systems, male and female. So draw the diagram and explain. Both are very, very important for 4 marks question. Okay. Compulsory. Some students are not drawing the diagram. So you have to diagrams also important. Diagram, labels and explanation. Okay. Thank you, students.